Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All right, welcome back. Tom Gresham here. We're having a bunch of fun talking about guns and shooting and ammo and all sorts of things. If it's about going bang, we'll talk about it here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. A lot easier that way. It's pretty much open lines. If you want to talk about stuff, we'll do that. Right now we're going to talk with one of my favorite guests. If you look at when they write the story of the last 30 years, which is really the golden age of competitive shooting, honestly, when they write that story of everything that's happened with, Bianchi Cup and action shooting and IPSC and USPSA and Sportsman Team Challenge, one of the names that's going to be mentioned a lot is Bruce Piatt. And fortunately, he joins us right now from the Whittington Center out in Raton, New Mexico. Hey, Bruce, how are you?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
I am great. First of all, tell people where you are and why it's important. What is so cool about where you are right now?
Well, the NRA Whittington Center is in Raton, New Mexico. I remember back in the 60s when I was a kid reading all the magazines that they were raising money to build this place, and I mentioned to my friend that I'm traveling with, I remember saying when I was a kid, I'm going to come out here one day, and sure enough, for the past 10 years or so, we've been coming out to shoot the Rocky Mountain three-gun match, and what a place it is. You don't measure this place in acres, you measure it in miles. It's got mountains, and the wildlife is running rampant to the place, mule deer and antelope. There's every shooting discipline represented there. It's open to the public. You can go in there and check in at the front gate and utilize any of their ranges 7 days a week. It's an amazing place. If you haven't been here, you should definitely put it on your bucket list.
The NRA's Whittington Center in Raton, New Mexico. Now, Bruce, I just want to tell people, just giving out your bio would take all the time we have. Police officer, SWAT team guy, competitive shooter, Sportsman's Team Challenge, multiple Bianchi Cup winner, USPSA, three-gun. It goes on and on. How old were you when you first started shooting competitively?
Well, I was a teenager when I started four-position rifle, and I did that a little bit, but girls and cars took over. It wasn't until in my 20s that I started shooting competitively with a pistol and shooting IPSC around the East Coast. And then once I became a police officer, then I had the means to get out and travel the country to the major match circuit. And that was back in '86. So I've been doing it 30-plus years.
Wow.
Pretty steady, yeah.
And for those who don't know, you've also been winning for 30 years.
I was very fortunate, Tom, to my wife calls me a natural. A lot of shooters have to practice, and I grew up pretty much outside of New York City, so access to ranges were limited. I couldn't practice, but very limited. I'd have to drive almost 2 hours to shoot anything. Mm-hmm. So I would get out and check my guns and just show up to a match, and I won. I won pretty good.
Yeah, well, you kind of picked up the name Mr. Versatile, which, because you shoot a lot of different disciplines well.
I do. There are those guys that some of the top shooters stay focused on one discipline, and it's just my personality. I get bored quick. So I want to shoot, and I like shooting a lot of different things. the other top shooters, Robbie Latham, would be like, hey, Bruce, you really shouldn't be doing that. You could do better if you stay with IPSC, or,
Right.
It's not in me. I got to get out, and I want to shoot rifle. I want to shoot shotgun. I want the challenge to learn something different. I even went out to the Colorado Springs, and I shot with the Olympic guys for a while. I just love learning something new. Well, at least when it goes bang, I want to learn about it.
I think I may have been out there when you went out to the Olympic Training Center. I think it was you and Jerry and a couple of others went out and tried that sport, and it was a hoot and a half to watch the culture clash going on there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I stuck with it for a year or so, and I faded off, but I learned a lot. I enjoyed trading little secrets with those guys. Yeah, it was good.
All right, question for you. How old are you now?
I'm 57.
All right. Give us a tip or two. We got an aging population. As people get older and still want to be a good shot, what would you recommend? What are the important things?
Well, a good optometrist.
Yes.
That's the key for many older shooters. It's all vision. If you're having trouble seeing your sights, your iron sights, well, there are many affordable either scopes or red dot sights that can keep you in the game. If you're dead set on shooting your iron sights, an optometrist is what you're going to need. And we talked about it because, like you said, the group of shooters that are even at all the matches are aging. And you almost have to lower your expectations a little bit. We used to win a whole lot, and we're not winning as much as we used to sometimes. So you just, you have to settle for what you can do. The whole goal of getting out on the range is to have fun.
I like it. The whole goal of getting out on the range is to have fun. That is very well put. I want to talk for a second. I got a couple of minutes left. One of the things that you're doing also is you're going around and teaching people how to build pistols, aren't you?
I am. I've built my own match guns for 1911 for almost 10 years now. Mm-hmm. I've been hooked up with Caspian Arms. They build 1911 frames and slides and all the parts, but they don't assemble them. And their market is the gunsmiths that would fit them. Okay. They're slightly oversized, so it allows a gunsmith to fit them together. So I've been with them all along, and I've had gunsmiths build my guns, and I have to ship guns back and forth to the gunsmith to have them worked on or built. And I got tired of waiting for my gun to come back if something went wrong, so it's just in my nature. I want to learn all the time, so I learned on my own how to build guns. I had a lesson from John Allen Sr. years ago, and anytime I was around a gunsmith, man, my ears were open. So I learned how to build my own gun. And I don't have a mill, and I don't have a lathe. You can do old school gunsmiths didn't either. I mean, you can learn how to do it by hand. So I'm at a match working on my guns, and somebody says, "Hey, Bruce, you should be teaching classes. I'd love to learn how to do that." I go, "You're nuts. Who's going to pay to do that?" And a guy behind me said, "I'll go." So it picked up. That was like 4 years ago. Since then, I should have a number in my head, but I don't. But I've had a lot of satisfied customers come through the class. It takes a week long to build. It takes a 5-day long class. You start with a box of parts, and by the end of the week, you're shooting your 1911 that you build by hand.
You're shooting with a multiple Yankee Cup winner, by the way. Bruce, I want to tell people if they want more information on that, you've got the information on building a 1911 class at your website, Bruce Piatt. It's BrucePiatt, BrucePiatt.com. I'm looking here. It looks like you've got them set up for Bloomington, Illinois in October, and Boise, Idaho in February, and they can check out the class schedule as well.
Yep, we got Albuquerque and Hagerstown, Maryland forming as well. Yep.
Very good. Bruce Piatt, thank you so much. You are honestly one of the good guys, one of the nicest guys on the circuit, and it's just always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you, Tom. Keep up the good work there.
All right, I appreciate it. You keep shooting, man. Like I say, the reason to show up is because shooting is fun. I love it. It's from a guy who wins everything. Okay. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We are pretty much open lines. Guns, techniques, getting older, shooting, problems you face, challenges you've had, and also bringing people into the shooting sport. Love those stories. Let's just share them. If you got a question or a comment, oh yeah, when we come back, I'll tell you about, we had to move my gun safes this week. I'll tell you about that one as well. Be right back.
When you want the highest quality ammunition, look to HSM. Since 1968, hunters and shooters have counted on HSM cartridges, including world-renowned Trophy Gold, featuring Berger VLD bullets, Pro Pistol Hunter, Cowboy Action, and the new Game King, featuring field-proven Sierra bullets. HSM's new revolutionary low-recoil rifle loads hit game hard, but kick much less. Low-recoil loads use standard weight-for-caliber Sierra hunting bullets in 7 popular calibers. HSM at your local shooting sports retailer.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Founded with the singular purpose of building fine sporting firearms, Kimber creates a handgun for every person and a rifle for every adventure. While embracing modern manufacturing techniques, every Kimber depends on practiced hands for assembly, fit, and finish. There's no compromise in features, materials, or performance. Synonymous with quality, precision, and excellence, and made in America. Kimber is what all guns should be. Visit KimberAmerica.com. That's KimberAmerica.com.
All right, back with you. Here's the, I don't even know what category this thing falls into, I swear. Where are we? We're in Wyoming here. In Wyoming, the game department, State Game and Fish Department, is allowing 10 permits to hunt grizzly bear. Now, the grizzlies came off the endangered list, came off the threatened list. There are enough of them where the scientists, the professionals who looked at the population, looked at what's going on, they said, okay, we can allow 10 hunters in to hunt grizzlies. Well, some people didn't like that because they think they know better than the professionals do when it comes to game management. So one of them is a fellow named Tom Mangelson. He is a critic of the Wyoming, effort, the idea of hunting grizzlies. So he got one of the 10 licenses. He's a nature photographer. He says he has no intention of hunting grizzlies. He's just going to use that one of 10 permits to go out and take pictures. And by doing so, he keeps somebody from getting a permit where they can take a bear. What's interesting is that the Wyoming Game and Fish Commission understood this was what was going to happen. And they knew that there were a lot of activists were going to apply for these licenses. So that's one of the reasons they limited it to, as a hunter, you can only hunt for 10 days. And I guess maybe they've set it up so that they can only have one hunter at a time with a grizzly permit out in the field. That way they can't go out and occupy the whole time. But it's just an interesting way of showing their objection. They want to stop hunting for grizzlies, even though grizzlies are expanding their range, or blowing out of Yellowstone. They're going all over the place. And it's that old deal of it's great to say, I think we ought to have bears everywhere that until they are in your backyard. It's like what's happening with mountain lions in some places where they're not hunted. They just keep getting more and more, and now they're stalking people and jumping on people and attacking people. And there's a limit. It's kind of like buffalo or bison. We could have 10 million of them if you wanted them. It's just that nobody wants them in their backyard or their pastures. So at a certain point, we manage wildlife both for their protection and for our use. And that's what's going on. But this is basically an anti-hunting effort is what it really is. Interesting story, though. Let's see, line 3. James is with us out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, James, you made it on to Gun Talk. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call. Hey,
Sure.
I got a question. I got this certificate for buying Glocks. I bought a 45 last year. This year I wanted to step up to a 357. And I started watching some YouTube videos on Glocks. And this one guy had a Glock 23. And he was talking about how it being a 40 millimeter was nice. Very accurate and all that. And then he went into how you can put a SIG 357 barrel in it. You can drop down to a Glock 9 barrel, or he had bought a 22 caliber barrel. But he only said Glock 23, and I'm still kind of new as far as pistols. I'm not proficient enough to carry yet, but my question was, is the Glock 23 Generation 4 capable of doing that, or is it just the original Glock 23?
I don't know is the short answer, but I'm going to ask for some help because I know we got a lot of Glock users who are listening right now, and they can help us out. So if you'll keep listening, we're going to see if we can round something up. Let me ask you,
okay.
Why the 23? Why are you looking at the 23?
Well, originally I wanted to do the 357, the Glock 32 Gen 4, but then I started watching the videos, and this guy showed the Glock 23 and how versatile it was with swapping out barrels and using the same receiver. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's like 4 pistols in one. So I don't know. I haven't picked which gun I want yet. There's like 40 on this list that I can pick, but I was interested in that 23 because it's so versatile, and I get these certificates. I got 2 last year. I got 1 this year. But I just thought, well, if I get the 40 cal and if I can swap barrels, then I have 4 pistols in one. So I don't know, that was kind of my thinking, but I just started watching videos on it and trying to learn a little bit more about pistols. Because I'm kind of new at pistols. I've got a bunch of rifles and stuff, but I'm still learning how to try to shoot accurate and all that, because eventually, once I get good enough and confident enough, I want to get a concealed carry.
Let me ask you, what are you doing? How are you learning to shoot pistols better? What are you doing now?
Just on my own, I go to a free outside range when I have to drive 25 miles to get there, but I just set my targets up and I just, I tried to practice my breathing control, my arm control, and I've got paper targets. I bought some those plastic spinner targets, so I can actually see where the bullets are going and try to adjust with my eyesight. Now I have a blue light laser for my 45, so I haven't shot with it yet, but I'm just trying to get a little bit more proficient before I actually start carrying.
I'm going to make a suggestion, and I'm real serious about this one, okay?
Okay.
Rather than buy a new gun yet, take that same amount of money and go spend every dollar of it on training with an instructor.
Right.
You will make progress so fast, you won't believe it. You will learn things that you're going to go, I never thought of that. That's amazing. I didn't know that. You will become a safer shooter. Take 2 or 3 classes for what the cost of that new pistol is going to be. And then the other thing that's going to happen is at that point, you will have a much better idea of what you're actually wanting and what you're looking for. Go take a good concealed carry class, take a good defensive shooting class, which is not the same thing, because a concealed carry class is usually a one-day class. Then take a couple of more classes, and I'm looking, there are a number of good training facilities around Tulsa that you can get into. And I'm
from Kansas City area. I'm a truck driver. I just left Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
I'm headed back to Kansas City right now.
Well, I'm sitting in Lenexa as I speak to you right now. So,
yeah, I heard that this is the first time I heard of you. I do a lot of talk radio, and I'm like, oh, wow, a gun show. And I listened all the way down to Tulsa, and now I'm listening to you all the way back. But I was like, I asked a couple of different people that question, and I couldn't get an answer as far as the Glock 32 or Glock 32 Gen 4 being able to do the same thing.
Right. And we'll ask for some help.
Unfortunately, I already spent my money. I bought the certificate, so I have to pick one before December or else I lose it. But instead of getting one next year, I probably will do, or maybe throughout the winter, pay for some good defensive classes.
Yeah, you'll find them to be really helpful. It'll really make a difference. And let's do this. I'm going to put out the word. If somebody's got any thoughts on Glock 23 versus 32 or swapping barrels out in your Glocks, you keep listening. You keep driving. You keep listening. We'll get you the information, okay? We'll work on that. I appreciate the call. Yeah, I am reminded. I've done a lot of instruction in photography as well as shooting through the years. One of the things I used to tell people is, your next, because everybody wants to buy a new camera, everybody wants to buy a new lens. And I used to tell them, your next lens should be a tripod. And tripods are boring, and nobody wants to spend a lot of money. And a good tripod could be $500, could be $1,000, and nobody wants to spend that much money on a tripod. And then we explain why and what you get out of it and what it's going to do for you. In fact, that a good tripod will last you essentially forever. And it's kind of that way when we're talking guns. A lot of times people want to know about what's the next gun, what's the cool gun, what caliber, what should I get? And you want to go, yeah, I know. And it's all cool. And trust me, everybody wants you to buy more guns, and you want to buy more guns. I get that. But honestly, in many cases, your money would be just as well spent or even better spent by going to get more training. Because when you get more training, you're going to know a lot more about shooting. You're going to be a better shot. You're going to know what you need. You're going to know what you want. You're going to be exposed to a lot of people around you who have interesting guns. You're going to be exposed to instructors who have ideas. Don't take their word as gospel. Listen to a bunch of them. Weigh it, measure it, and then put it up against what your needs and your wants are, because what you want actually does trump everything else. But informed decisions are always better. And a trained shooter is a safer shooter. Basically, that's really what it's about. But if you have some thoughts that can help him out on the Glocks and swapping out barrels, 866-TALK-GUN. What is training meant to you?
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Back with you, Tom Gresham here. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in. Talking about, pretty much everything. By the way, on that last caller, he was asking about what caliber, what to get in Glock and 40, can you swap barrels out, everything else. I'm going to throw a thought in here. Because of availability of ammo and price of ammo and so many other factors, I swear I end up always recommending the 9mm. The ammo is much less expensive. It's so readily available. Practice ammo is just dirt cheap. And I'm kind of standardized on the 9 for most things, especially if it's for two-legged predator protection. And I know it's fun to have. I've got a 40. I've got a 375. I got this. I know. I get all that. But if you're only going to have a couple, I would suggest maybe you make them all 9s. Just because you can standardize on the ammo, and the ammo is available, and it's cheap and available. I mean, you can get it anywhere, and there's a wide variety of it. So just kind of my thoughts on that. It's just a thought. Let's see here. I want to talk to Craig on line 2 out of Helena, Montana. Hey, Craig, what in the world happened?
Hey, Tom, how you doing today?
I'm great.
Say, I was hunting. I just moved to Montana a few years ago, so I'm learning this mountain hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was out by myself last fall, which was my mistake number 1, in an area which I was exploring, which was my mistake number 2. And my mistake number 3 was coming around a bend in the trail and coming across a dead deer laying there with a grizzly bear over it at about 20 yards.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, so I had bear spray on my belt, and I had my 308 over my shoulder. The 308 came off my shoulder in my right hand, safety off, pointed at the bear. The bear spray came out in my left hand, safety off, pointed at the bear, and I backed away, and luckily it had snowed about 1.5 feet of light powder that night, and that bear kind of climbed up on a bunch of deadfall and started pushing on it and huffing at me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, all the snow fell off all the little trees all over and obscured both of our view for about 20, 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Which gave me enough time to back out of there, I was about 80 yards away before you could see, and I was around a corner, and then I just hightailed it back down the mountain to my truck. Which, of course, made me think.
Yeah, a lot.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, the question I have for you today is I have a Smith & Wesson stainless steel 357. It's been in my arsenal for many years. I don't shoot it a whole lot, but I have it.
Okay.
And I've been going back and forth. Do I get some good HSM bear loads for that 357? Or is it too small? Do I need to just break down and go buy a 460 or a 500 and carry it along with me? I was just wondering, do you have any... Is 357 adequate or not?
No, nothing's adequate that you don't fire by pulling on a rope. You know, but having said that, we have to make accommodations for what we're going to carry. Let me back up. If you are carrying a 308, you already have something that's 3 to 4 times as powerful as your 357.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were carrying a hunting rifle, chances are I wouldn't spend a lot of time or effort on carrying a handgun for bear protection, figuring that my rifle is a much better option for bear protection. If, however, I'm going to be out there without a rifle, now I'm definitely carrying a handgun. And I personally carry a 357 most of the time when I'm in bear country. And I have hard cast lead bullet loads like the HSM that you're talking about. Those are very good loads. If it were me, I would be carrying either that or probably the Black Hills Honey Badger loads, but they do not have that in a 357 Magnum. They've got it in a 44 Magnum. So I think what you're doing with the HSM hardcast lead bullets will work just fine. But backing up, you already had bear spray. Good move. Very good. And people gun people often make fun of that, but bear spray is pretty effective. But a 308 is real effective. So,
right. You see, after the event happened and I replayed it in my mind, I realized I was so close to that bear, and I had a bolt-action rifle in my right hand. Mm-hmm. If that bear would have decided to come for me, if that snow wouldn't have fallen, I would have gotten one shot from the hip with the 308, and I would have gotten one short spray of bear spray in the face. And that's when I thought, probably neither of that would stop that bear. And that's why I'm thinking of sidearm, especially for when I'm bow hunting now.
Now, if you're bow hunting, I think maybe carrying a good revolver is not a bad way to go. Now, let me jump in. I love the 460 and the 500 for hunting, but not for carrying for bears because they're too darn big. I would, if it were me, for me, and everybody's got to figure out where their level is. For me, the compromise position is a 44 Magnum revolver. And it can be a Smith & Wesson, it can be a Ruger, it can be whatever you want, but there are some nice 4-inch barrel 44 Magnum revolvers that you can carry in a good holster, shoulder holster if you like, belt holster, however you like to carry it. The 460s and 500s are huge, and they're really heavy, and they're a beast to shoot. And I have them, and I have shot them, but I'm not going to carry them. I'm just not. So for bow hunting, I would carry I'd probably carry a 44. If you want to buy a gun, if you want to just use the one you have, I'd carry the 357 and be okay with it.
Yeah. Good. Well, I think you helped me make up my mind.
All right. Well, good luck with it. I'm glad it worked out for you. And good thing there was lots of snow and it provided a little bit of a smoke screen for you so you can get away. I like that. All right. Thanks for the call, sir. All right. Quick break here. Time for you to give us a call. Bear guns. We always are talking about those. And you know why? because it's a really good subject. And also, if you have a good bear gun, you have a good protection against mountain lions. People go, really? Yes, really. I'm not kidding. 866-TALK-GUN.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Built to perform in the harshest conditions, the Ruger American pistol can take it all, from ice to dust and everything in between. The Ruger American pistol features a short take-up trigger, Novak sights, and a recoil-reducing barrel cam with low-mass slide for reduced felt recoil. Plus, a modular grip system with 3 sizes to fit almost any hand. Check it out at Ruger.com. The Ruger American pistol, because anything else would be un-American.
Now at LibertySafe.com, you can buy a Liberty Safe at a great price and receive 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR, with some safes as low as $20 a month on approved credit. Peace of mind, lifetime warranty, and in-home delivery service. Go to LibertySafe.com now for 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR. LibertySafe.com.
Let's keep talking about guns, because, well, that's what we do here. Jim's with us out of Casper, Wyoming on 1. Hey, Jim, you're on Gun Talk.
How are you today?
I am wonderful. What's up?
Great. Real quick, I'm looking for a smaller frame gun to carry concealed. Currently, I have a Ruger 1911 45.
Okay.
I'm 6'1", 6'2", 275. My glove size is a 2X.
Wow.
So when I start looking at a lot of the smaller frame guns, my hand wraps around it and it becomes a squirt gun.
Okay. Let me ask you. Now, you've got a Ruger 1911, which is a great pistol.
Yep.
Is the grip on that okay for your hand?
Actually, without the pinky extension on the magazine, without it, my little finger's hanging off the bottom of the handle.
Okay. What I'm wondering, and I don't know if you've tried this, like, for instance, on the Rugers, if you went to something like the Ruger American polymer pistol, get the compact version, but the grips you have different size inserts, and you can put the big one on, and it really makes the grip quite a bit larger, wider.
Okay.
Smith & Wesson has the same thing with their M&P.
Yeah, we've got concealed carry up here pretty open, but the problem is being able to stuff it somewhere on your body where it doesn't become an obvious bulge.
Right. And let me just say this. Please make sure you use a holster, because sticking them into pockets leads to triggers being pulled and making holes in body parts, which is really nasty.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, no kidding. But I would go hop over to a gun store and tell them you want to look at one of these polymer guns that has the different size grips, and tell them put the fat grip on it, and try that and see if that works. Because you got two things: you got the diameter, the circumference of the grip, as well as the length. Is it the length of it that's an issue for you, or is it that the grip is just kind of small and tiny when you grab a lot of these guns?
They're both.
Both, okay. So you got
long fingers and big thick palm.
You may not be able to go to a real small gun.
Well, that's why I called. I was just looking for an idea from the expert.
Yeah, I just, when your hands are that big, you just kind of swallow up a little gun, and it can be a little bit hard to use. You should be able to shoot the mid-size, the Ruger Americans, the XD compacts from Springfield, the M&P compacts. They're not subcompacts, they're compacts. Any of those should work for you, especially, as you say, when you get the magazines that have the finger extension, the pinky extension. But, the good news is, as big as you are, you can also conceal a bigger gun. And I think that's going to work to your favor.
All righty. Well, I appreciate that. I know that with the holstered Ruger I have now, no matter where I wear it, other than the shoulder holster under a jacket, there's an obvious bulge.
Okay. Are you wearing it, trying an inside the waistband holster?
Yep.
Huh. I don't know, because that's where I tend to wear them, and I don't have a bulge, but I will also say I've gotten to where I've got my shirt tails out and they're loose. Is that how you're wearing your shirts?
90% of the time, yeah.
Yeah. I also have gone one size larger in shirts, and they're big blousy and they're not real stylish, but nobody sees that I'm carrying a gun. You just got to try different things. I wish you luck with it, but I got to keep moving here. I do want to talk with, let's see here. I want to talk on line 4. Paul is in Anchorage, Alaska. As long as we'll be talking about bear guns. Hey, Paul.
Hi, Tom. How are y'all doing?
I'm well. Talk to me about bear guns.
Bear guns. Well, here's my experience, and I've got about probably 45 years now of experience in bear country, and we have, as you know, grizzlies. We have mostly brown bear,
right,
and black, and then polar bear, of course, up north. If you need which you should always use a long gun on. I wouldn't be messing around with handguns with those. But the 357 is fine for a black bear, in my opinion. But I wouldn't go anything less than a 44 mag with at least a 300 grain in it for a brownie. We've got the biggest brownies in the world up here, on Kodiak and False Pass, the first Aleutian Island, and the Alaska Peninsula.
I know. I've hunted Raspberry Island just off of Kodiak, so I know exactly.
Yeah, and you don't want to mess around with a 357. You just piss them off.
Yeah, and it's a good point. If you're talking about black bears, it's one thing. If you're talking about grizzlies, it's a different deal. And of course, inland grizzlies are different from browns. You got grizzlies, you got browns. They're the same bear, but in different places. And they're, literally twice the size, aren't they?
Yeah, brownies are much bigger than grizzlies.
Yeah, much bigger. Same bear.
Same bear, but
yeah. They just eat a lot of food. They eat a lot of salmon there. So, but it's excellent point, and I tend to agree with you. The Forest Service up in Alaska did a study on ammo and everything else for bear protection, and they came up with the same thing. They said 44 Magnum was the bare minimum, if you will pardon the pun, the bare minimum for bears. And long guns are always better, but if you've got to do a handgun, the 44 Magnum they think was the minimum if you're talking grizzlies, and I would tend to agree with them. If you already have a 357 and that's what you're going to use, get good ammo for it, and that's great. But if you're going to be buying a revolver, and I would push you toward a revolver, I would definitely think in terms of a 44 Magnum. And there's so many really good ones out there. It's just amazing. And I don't care, single action, double action, whatever you want. I know people are thinking, single action, really? Are you crazy? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but it works for me. 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk. All right, let's keep talking about revolvers. We have a bunch of fun with that. Line 2, Rick's with us out of Spokane, Washington. Hey, Rick, what's your range report, sir?
Ruger GP100, Wiley Clap, 3-inch.
In 10 millimeter?
Yes, sir. Just came out.
Okay. Do you have one?
I got one.
Talk to me. How is it?
I love it. I had the 4-inch I bought here a month and a half ago, and then my local crack dealer called and said he had the 3-inch Wiley Clap in stock.
Did you say your crack dealer?
Well, yes, the Ruger crack dealer.
I get it, man. I do. All right. So for those who don't know, the Wiley Clap GP100, it's a 3-inch barrel GP100 from Ruger. It's a TALO. It's one of the exclusives called TALO, TALO exclusive, but your distributor ought to be able to get it. Your dealer should be able to get it. So a 3-inch barrel, 10 millimeter revolver. Why?
That's what I'm asking myself, but I really enjoy it.
You're as bad as me, man.
I will say one thing, though. Normally I've kind of shied away from guns with moon clips.
Uh-huh.
I took them out today because you can shoot this gun with or without moon clips as long as you're using 10s.
Right.
40s, of course, require the moon clip, but
right.
You could push them in and out of the moon clip with your fingers. Normally they're you-know-what part of your body pain.
Yeah, they're a pain, yeah.
Even with a demooner with these, oh, my God. But I can't figure out why I bought it, but, yeah, I got a whole safe full of those.
How's it shoot?
Really good. Yeah, I only shot it at 15 yards. I kind of want to get some good ammo for it. But just shooting bulk reloads, it's a great little gun. I love it. I'd suggest that if anybody, that 10mm is a really good cartridge. It goes along with the Delta Elite I bought 10 days ago.
Nice. Well, I shot the Ruger Match Champion in 10 millimeter, and we were banging steel at 50 and 60 yards with that. Easy. I mean, just like nothing to it.
That's the one I got about a month and a half ago when they first came out.
Okay, so you got that one as well. That's
I had to get the 3-inch because it was weighed a lot less in the holster.
I like that. Now, see, I would be torn between the GP100 in 10 millimeter and the GP100 in 44 Special, because that one looks interesting as well.
That's only a 5-shot on the 44 Special, isn't it?
That's correct. It is. So, they're bigger cartridges. There's just not enough room in that little cylinder for 6 of them. So it's a 5-shot.
Well, I'd say get one of each.
Now you're talking. You're my kind of guy. I need to call you on a weekly basis. I'm telling you.
Hey, by the way, your call screener, I put some money in her GoFundMe page for her new 327.
Well, that's what she's up to when I think she's talking to people. She's running her GoFundMe for her new gun, huh?
Hello.
Well, I appreciate it, sir. Great range report as always. Thanks for the help on that. Yeah, and Ruger does a lot of these specials. If you aren't aware of it, take a look at the Ruger's website. They've got these distributor specials. Lipsy's has them. I love the Lipsy's website, by the way. Lipsy's, LIPSEYS.com. You can see a lot of these specials that you can't get anywhere else. They've got some really nice Ruger number ones as well as some other things. But a lot of manufacturers are doing these distributor exclusives that are available only through certain distributors. But your dealer can order from any of these distributors. So when you find them, go talk to your dealer, put your order in, and it'll work for you. It's and there's cool stuff. It's things that most people haven't seen. This Wiley Clap Ruger, the GP100 in 10 millimeter, 3-inch barrel, brand new, just out, just available. I can't believe he got one of them, but he's talking me into it. I really like the looks of that. But I'm still kind of thinking 44 Special. Yeah, but then again, there's nothing that says you can't have both, right? I am now known as a self-enabler. I'll help you buy guns, you help me buy guns, and I'll help me buy guns. That'll work. In the meantime, go out and do a little bit of shooting this week. This is, by the way, National Shooting Sports Month, as designated by the National Shooting Sports Foundation. It's a great time to take people out and post pictures of that to your Facebook and other social media pages. Share the joy of shooting and do it safely. In the meantime, be safe out there, and might as well buy a new gun.